Okay, pinch me.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning. No, good afternoon. Here's the deal. You and I, 3-4 months ago, got together, had this wild idea, and now we're in our 9th episode.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Aftermarketweekly.com. Welcome, everyone. The fastest, quickest, most fun 25-minute magazine show in the automotive aftermarket that you'll ever see. Of course, we have 8 episodes sitting out in the archives at aftermarketweekly.com. We would love for you to go and watch those. How you doing today, Mr. Tom?
Oh, pretty good. Up here in the tropics of Michigan. Just I imagine you have the tropics in New York, too. Looks like we're going to be hot for another week or two.
Yes, we are, and it's good to have you. I have seen the segments that we're doing. It is going to be so absolute much fun today. I want to encourage anyone who would love to be on our shop tour, which is really around 17 or 18 minutes after the hour. If you'd love to be on it, email me, carm@aftermarketweekly.com. We would love to have you. And also, Tom in the past has asked for road trip pictures. If you're going on a road trip this summer, or you got some in your archives, send them to us.
Yeah, stop at Old Faithful and send us a picture.
Hey, we're going here today, right?
Yes, we last week we were in Farmington. We're going about 10 miles to the east is all we traveled, and we're going to Madison Heights and see Bill Nalo at Interstate Auto Care.
Cool picture, Bill. Thanks for sending that in. That's kind of a fisheye view. Thank you so much. That's so cool.
Great shot.
Hey, one really quick thing I would love to talk about is that Apex, for the first time ever, is getting ready to hold service professional honors or awards, if you will, the shop owner of the year, the technician of the year, and the service advisor of the year. This is a first. It's going to be an annual thing. The people are going to be honored at Apex. Go to aapexshow.com/service awards. The deadline is July 31st. We're so happy to promote the fact that Apex is going to be honoring 3 really key critical people in the service industry. So
yeah. That's cool.
Very, very good. Hey, so let's do trends. We want to talk about trends?
Yeah, this is a trend that's been going on for a long time, and it's expanding a little bit. And it's call it the anti-automotive, anti-car trend. And I picked up on this article, a gentleman by name of O'Toole out of Colorado, and I just thought it was interesting with some of his takes on it. Thought I'd pass some of that on.
Yeah. And
he refers to it as being the irrational anti-car sentiment or movement or trend. And, you know, with transportation in general, it's often best to have your own car, especially if you're in a situation, some kind of emergency. Maybe it's a hurricane, maybe it's a pandemic. In some situations, it could be a terrorist attack. And if there's a terrorist attack or there's a hurricane, you really don't want to wait on the subway platform and hope it comes by and there's enough room for you to get on. It's kind of nice to have your own car and be able to get out of Dodge and do it right now. So this kind of anti-car sentiment, he really has a problem with. And he points out that when you go overseas, you see a lot of these terrorist attacks. They don't attack public highways. If you attack a public highway, people just take a different route and drive a different way. What they do is they attack trains and planes and subways and public transportation. It's much more terrifying, and it will disrupt things over a long period of time. So that's often the targets. And one of the other things that he had on here, which is kind of interesting in light of all the COVID things going on, he said, people that regularly ride public transportation are 6 times more likely to get an acute respiratory disease.
Wow.
And if you think about it, you're all packed in a car. If somebody has some kind of respiratory disease, your odds of getting it packed in there like sardines is really super high. That's kind of interesting. But in general, this movement, which started many years ago, slowly, but keeps advancing all the time, you're seeing cities do more and more things to get on board with this anti-car movement. You're constantly seeing cities where they're closing off streets, making them pedestrian only, that kind of thing. That's been something they've done. Another thing they're doing is they're reducing parking. Let's get rid of parking. Let's make life as difficult as possible for people with their own cars. And since they won't voluntarily ride public transportation, we're going to force them that way. And one of the latest things we've seen happen, I know it's right here in our city in Grand Rapids, they're doing it, is we're taking 4-lane streets and we're making them into 2 lanes. Now, sometimes you see it where they just restripe the road a little bit. It's not that big a deal. They make some bike lanes, but it still could be used as a 4-lane. But what I'm seeing here is they actually take landscaping, concrete curb things, and they completely obscure those outer lanes. So now it's no longer a 4-lane road. It's a 2-lane. So if you were taking that road before, and maybe there's a little bit busy traffic in the morning, now you have a traffic jam.
What's the hidden agenda here?
Anti-car. It's just anti-car. It's often part of the
anti-car.
environmental
but Tom, look
extremism.
At how much cleaner the cars are. I mean, has anyone stopped to realize that we've got better cars?
He has some statistics on that, and it's just he points out that a lot of this sentiment was really developed back in the 70s. And cars have changed so radically since then. They take a 1970 Impala or 1970 LTD with a carburetor and all that kind of thing. Today, our cars today, 50 years later, use about half the energy to go the same distance. And this one I found amazing, that traffic deaths per mile driven are actually down about 78%.
Yeah.
If you say, gee, they're not down that much. Well, we drive a lot more. So if you actually do it per mile, they are down that much. And here was the most amazing one. A lot of the toxic pollutants down as much as 97%. So if we take that 1970 Mustang and we take a 2020 Mustang, we'd have to have about 30 2020 Mustangs to put out the same pollution as a 1970 Mustang.
Yeah.
So consequently, in some cities, smog has literally gone. It's left. In other cities, it's extremely reduced. It's much less of a problem. So back to his original thing, he wants to take back our cities for cars and for the safety of the people who drive them.
Yeah. Well, look, I'm going to put this link in the show page on our website so that anyone can go to it. A lot of discussion in that article on Denver, by the way.
Yes.
And I'm crazed about this. I just don't understand why some of this is going on, because we continue to have a love of our automobiles, and it's
yes,
our
we
freedom.
do.
It's our freedom, opportunity to go anywhere. It is America. We do have those kind of
magic's coming back.
But it's the summer of love, so anything can happen. We'll keep our eye on this, Tom. Now let's check out a new survey.
All right. Well, last week we talked about shop owners. How are you going to get out? How are you going to leave? We wanted to know. And we talked about that. Well, this week we're going to move to when. We talked about how. Let's talk about when now. And that was kind of interesting, the results of this. We had a survey, might be able to put it up on the screen. 1 in 9 said never. These are the people, we're going to bury them in Bay 1, so they will be there forever. About 1 in 4 said 20 years or more. About 1 in 3 said 10 years or more. And then we get to the fun. Half, 50%, in the next 5 years, I'm out of here. Some of the people are in the process of getting out now, this year. Others, 1, 2, 3, 5 years, they're getting out. When we look at the number of shops in the country, and these are conservative numbers. Conservatively, if you, assuming those figures would extrapolate to the total number of shops, you're looking at 50 to 60,000 shop owners.
Yeah. It's unbelievable.
If those figures are conservative, it'd be more. It could be 70 or 80,000 shop owners. And just getting out of the business, it's just amazing that over a period of 10 years, you would literally virtually turn over the entire ownership.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of shops available. If starting a shop was something that you had thought of yourself, one thing you learn if you get into it a little bit, you can do 2 different things. You can start out on your own, build from scratch, which is you'll learn a lot doing that. But if you want to make profit quickly, buying an existing shop is by far the best way to go. In most cases, there's always exceptions, but usually that's the way to do it. And there should be a lot of shops coming up available. Getting into one that has a reasonably decent location, reasonably decent reputation, and there you go. See if you can put that together.
Well, look at why do we get these? Why do we do these surveys each and every week? It's because they come from Automotive Management Network. Of course, that's Tom's site, along with being a shop owner. And of course, I'm from Remarkable Results Radio. So thank you so much for these each and every week, Tom. These surveys. I'm not stunned by them. We've done so many shows on the podcast about this. There's succession opportunities, both internal, external, family communications. You could probably listen to 100 hours of podcasts on my show just about this.
It's kind of cool because the opportunity is growing. And the other thing is, I think shops have never been more profitable than they are right now. And I'm not talking about just keeping up with inflation. I'm talking about because of training and so on, that there's much more serious money to be made than there ever was.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for that. We'll keep those surveys coming each and every week, and let's move to technology. And as we move to tech, Tom, I just want to tell everyone that we're live on Facebook. We're live on my podcast website. We're live on aftermarketweekly.com. We're live on Automotive Management Network Facebook page. So there's not any place you could probably not find us within all of our brands. Everywhere. And we can see the Facebook comments. So if there's anybody out there that wants to give us a high five or a shout, do it on Facebook. We'd love to see it. So let's talk tech.
Yeah, every week I get to learn at least one or two new words, at least new to me. The word for the week this time is microtransactions.
Oh, I love
which
this.
is, I've never used that in a sentence before, but Tesla has started this, and BMW now is going to get into it really big. Others to follow. And to oversimplify it a little bit, what we're talking about is subscribing to the options on your car, subscribing to the features on your car.
Uh-oh.
So, you may want to have adaptive cruise control. You may want to have heated seats. Well, in the past, if you had heated seats, we got to buy a different car, adaptive cruise control. Add that on.
Hang on. I got to stop you. Are you telling me that you could buy a light version of a loaded Mercedes-Benz and then have to pay more to make it really function like you wanted?
Absolutely. We could have a Mercedes-Benz that has every toy known to man on it, and then we'll just turn on maybe a third or a half of them. And then if you want more of them turned on, you would do a menu and you'd pick the ones you want. You would subscribe and they'd charge you a little bit more each month. Or maybe you bought it, maybe it had everything turned on when it was brand new, and now you're the second or third owner and you're going, this fee is insane. Can you turn off a bunch of this stuff that I don't want anyway and reduce my fee? And the answer would be yes, we can turn it off and on. Sure.
Well, I guess if you could subscribe to XM radio in your car, you could subscribe to heated seats.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's just when you think about it, in theory, you could take a model of car and you could just have one version of that model. You're still going to vary paint colors and at least for the time being, paint colors and trim. But other than that, you could just make one version of the car and just switch on whatever you want. Just totally one Honda Accord.
First of all, I'm not surprised. Did you ever buy a piece of software and it was like, oh my God, $39? What a fabulous piece of software. And then they upcharge you and now you're paying $99.
Yeah. Funny how that works. It's kind of like cable TV. You know?
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Well, that's a great piece of technology. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Ford's looking at some version of that in the F-150 coming fairly soon. GM's playing with what they call in-car shopping. You're stuck in a traffic jam, so you can pre-purchase your gas, pre-purchase your hot dog and your Coke. So when you get there, it's all paid for. You just go grab it and take off. So love it.
So I probably would want heated seats, blind spot, cruise, radio, and GPS at least on my menu list to start with.
And a Keurig.
Oh my God, yes. Yeah, take out the glove compartment and put in a Keurig for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh man. Hey, let's go talk money.
All right, let's talk about money. EVs, always a fun subject. Electric vehicles. You're going to keep hearing more and more about them as time goes on, and it just overpowers so many. There's so many topics. So this is EVs, good and bad.
Okay.
Well, so we'll start with the bad news. Now, Teslas are fairly popular, but especially when you get outside of Tesla, as far as EVs goes, nobody wants them. And what I mean by that is we're a few weeks away from releasing the 2021 models out on the car dealer lots. And there's 2019 EVs sitting there on dealer lots. They've been sitting there for a year and a half collecting dust, and they want to get rid of these things. Nissan, Chevrolet, Audi are examples. They're offering $15,000 discounts. You're talking about a car that starts out in the low 40s. Now we're down to the mid upper 20s, like a 35% discount off the price. Just staggering.
Mm-hmm.
Jaguar, $24,000 discount. Car is more expensive, but just a staggering amount of money to take off. When they checked around, they're finding Chevy Bolts online for as little as $25,000. That's Bolts with a B.
Yeah.
So you can get a heck of a deal on these things. But of course, the other side of them, the whole electric thing, when you begin to study them a little bit, as they go, especially some of these cheaper ones, we're only talking 150, 175, couple of hundred miles. Yeah. So
refresh rate on that.
It depends on it depends on the person and what you use it for. Somebody who strictly stays around town and they just don't go very far, they don't even do local road trips, it might be a good thing to get. But even if you take you say on a Saturday there's a festival a couple hours away, we'd like to go there, you can't hop in your Nissan Leaf and do that. You're going to have to stay overnight to get the thing charged up. It's not going to go 2 hours away and 2 hours back. It just can't go that far. I had a little fun with it, and I just to be a little bit humorous, I thought we'd drive our Leaf to Disney from up in New York or Michigan, and not being completely aware of where all the charging places was, I was going to be stuck having to charge this thing either at a rest stop or at the hotels. Just plug into the 110 and charge it up. So it looks like to take the Leaf and go to here Disney, it's going to take me about 2 weeks. Because we can drive for about 2 hours or so, and then we have to stop, plug it in, and charge it for about 35 hours, a little over a day, so I can go for another 2.
So when you ask for vacation time, you have to take 5 weeks. 1 week to go to Disney, 2 weeks to drive, 4 weeks to drive.
Sure. Just if I could tell you we want to meet in Branson in our electric cars, Carm, and it's going to be a week for us to get there. Yeah, that's the only problem.
It's so interesting. I just love it. I've got so many stats on the EV from an episode that I did with Derek Kaufman, episode 529, and all the discussion on the UK banning the internal combustion engine and all the different market shares of the EVs around the world, and that the US, we've only got a 2.1% battery electric vehicle market.
It is a niche market. Few people like them, but it's a small niche yet.
Hey, great, Tom, this was so interesting. It's now time for our live shop tour.
Let's see if Bill's there.
While we're doing that, I'm going to take myself out and do some little studio adjustments here while we're waiting. Here we go.
Well, hello, people.
Hey, Bill, looks like beautiful weather there. Sunny day. Wow.
It's 95. We're dying. But fortunately, we're going inside here in just a second here.
It's only going to be that way for another 2 weeks, so hang in there.
Exactly. So let me flip the camera real quick here.
All right, then, let's see. Take us on a tour of Interstate Auto Care.
It's going to be a real chore to do this in 8 minutes. So here's the front of the building.
All right.
The building's about 7,000 square feet. Slow day at the office. We're literally double parked and parking cars wherever we can at this point. Let's go inside. And here's our LED sign. And walking in. Told the guys not to make so much noise here. So here's our front lobby here. Here's our wonderful customer, Tim. Hey, Tim, say hi. Here's our waiting area. I'm a big proponent of AutoNet TV. They've got just fantastic programming, especially when we start adding things, whether they're videos that we've created, or whether they're content, maybe TED Talks and what have you. It's just a fantastic way for customers to get an idea of who we are. There's Adam behind the counter there. For those of us that love monitors, those are 2 ultra-wide 34-inch monitors.
Now, is that your office behind all that glass there?
Yeah, office is back here.
Oh, cool.
There's back here. And then we're going to walk into the shop now. Here's our Wall of Pride here. Real big believer in ASE, of course, and we're proud to be a Blue Seal shop. And so here's walking through the shop. It's so hot today that we're actually just left the door open to pump more air conditioning into the building. And so what I wanted to talk about is let's take you a couple things. That last segment, Tom, you're talking about secondhand things.
Yes.
These two washers and a dryer I bought for $450 7 years ago because we fired our uniform company, the ones that do 10-year contracts. And those are still original. You know how much money we've saved over the years?
A lot.
Care to do the math on it? We're paying about $100 a week. And so it's all up. I'd like to take some time just to talk about sort of what you can save for those of us on a budget. So some of the younger shop owners, when you want to save some money, how much money you can save. So this alignment lift was purchased through there was a dealership that was renovating. It was $1,000 plus I think it was $150, $200 to move the thing to us. And I spent. They just basically built this pit. I've got about $9,000 into this thing.
Wow.
About $9,000. And then what that gives us, it gives us a second alignment rack. We have a 4-post here. And so this is our heavy hoist. And then, of course, with our aligner, it's on wheels. So now that gives us the ability to be able to do alignments. In this case here, this vehicle is going to be up there for a while. We're doing a bunch of modifications to the suspension. So that's going to be up there for a while. So it just gives us the ability to be able to do things that we couldn't before. Second piece of equipment here, this floor cleaner. When Toys R Us went out of business, they had a few hundred of these things. Well, one of our fleet accounts services these things and sells them. This is a $5,500 machine. We picked it up for $2,000. It has revolutionized the way we clean floors around here. Look at our floors. This is how it normally looks. There's not a drop of oil anywhere on the ground because as soon as anybody makes a mess, that machine picks it up. We no longer have to be, you remember the days when it's 4 guys at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the afternoon trying to clean the floors, and you've got this green slime everywhere. What else can I show you here? We're really equipment heavy here. We do just about everything. I mean,
What's nice, Bill, on saving the money there, it's a good point in that because when you save $5,000 or $10,000, that goes right to the bottom line. That's like doing $50,000 worth of sales. That goes right to the bottom line, right to the profits.
Yeah. The last item here is our AC unit. We had this. So my heating and ventilation guy, talk about having connections. We as shop owners know a ton of contractors. So my HVAC guy that did our brand new unit up front when we did our remodel last year, I asked him, I said, do you ever come across a unit that might be, somebody's upgrading? And lo and behold, 6 months later, he came up with this unit. And so at this point, we've got air conditioning. It is right now, as I look at this, we are at about 80 degrees, which isn't much if you're in a house. But if you're in a shop and you're bringing down your humidity level, it's like 50, 60%. Yeah. It's like heaven in here. And so it just drives up our productivity, and the guys are much happier because it's on a day like this. I'm so happy to have AC in a shop. And to talk about customer retention, if you want to have these highly skilled technicians these days, you're going to need to have some of these things provided, or else we're just going to be continuing to struggle for the technicians that service what I've always called is the most complicated consumer product in the universe.
Boy, that's true. A couple things that really stand out. Your front customer area there, it is just absolutely beautiful, and there's so much room there. Those 34-inch monitors, if I get by your shop, I might steal those. Those are very cool.
They're Costco. I think they were $260 a piece.
Is that all?
But it's really nice because what happens is you can actually, I'm going to flip the camera here.
Yeah.
What happens is you can actually, in this case here, he's got shopware running on the left monitor. We've got, you could split them up. You could have four workstations in one monitor. And so you've got all kinds of stuff that you can put up in there in the process. But
I love it.
Yeah, it's just we have a monitor here that's just an old TV set that plays basically just pictures that we put up here.
Well, hey, Bill, thank you so much for the tour. You don't know how much we appreciate it. And that was really good video and audio. We could hear you clearly, and we could see things real well. Thanks.
Hey guys, let me stop you for a minute and remind you that the shop tour is brought to you by Broadly, who helps the local auto shops grow through great customer experiences. Broadly attracts and captures leads, helps you communicate by text, collect contactless payments, and gathers reviews. Go to broadly.com. Had to
Thanks,
say
Broadly.
that. Thanks, Tom.
Hey, thanks,
Tom.
Bill.
Thanks, Tom. Appreciate you guys.
Oh
See you
man,
later.
it was
Really
great.
appreciate
And now, by the way, I've been to Bill's shop, and Bill, it looks just special. Thank
It's
you.
getting there. We're never done. You know how
Absolutely.
it is. You know how it is. with
I know
shop
how
owners.
it
We're
is,
never
man.
done.
All right, great. Oh,
All
it was
right.
a good shop tour, Tom. Thank you for putting that together. Wow, man. So one final segment here.
Well, do you want to know where we're going next week?
Oh, please tell us.
We're gonna go west this time. We're gonna go all the way to Portage. And somebody says, "Where's Portage?" Portage is right near Kalamazoo, and that's all I'm going to tell you. If you don't know where Kalamazoo is, you got to look that up.
All right.
It's where they make a lot of cereal there. But we're going to go to Kendall Auto. We're going to visit Steve Kirk, and he's going to show us around, and that should be fun.
Cool. Can't wait. Can't wait. Well, this show went so fast. We've got one final segment. What are we going to do? We're going to talk about trivia, some stats. What are we going to do today?
Dateline is Wichita. And I saw this, and I found this, and this is just fantastic. They got a 12,000 square foot facility packed full of full-size slot car tracks. I think
Look
that
at
one has
that.
like 6 slots in it. And if you're younger, you're looking at that and saying, what the heck is that? Well, you get those little slot car sets for your kids in the living room, Christmas, so on and so forth. Well, this is our big ones. This is 24th scale. I mean, these cars go 30 miles an hour, which if you develop that 24 scale, it took us 700 miles an hour is the equivalent. They got a bunch of tracks here. Some of them are shaped like NASCAR and Indy tracks. You got a drag strip here, 75 feet long. And these guys are going to open this up in the next few months.
So,
It
Tom,
would be a lot, about $10 an hour. Did you do this when you were a kid?
yeah, this is nothing new. Is it coming back?
No, I hope it's I hope this is a new trend. I was going to put it at the beginning. I was tempted. I hope it's a new trend. I'd love to see these things all over. If you've never done this, you go out, you find one of these and spend a couple hours there, and it is a blast, whoever you are.
Yeah, you take a gang of people. It could be a
Yes.
party, and the only thing is, right now I think they're all kind of within 6 to 8 feet, next to each other with their controllers. But they could design this thing to be totally socially, 6 feet apart.
Absolutely. You got trigger controls and away
Yeah.
you go, and it's just a lot of fun.
How cool! Damn,
Yeah.
you
So-
keep bringing all this good stuff.
As Carm said at the beginning, if you want us to tour your shop, if you've got some questions or comments, got road trip photos. If you want to become a sponsor one of the other segments that isn't sponsored yet, Carm at aftermarketweekly.com.
Hey, thank you for that. And I want to talk about one more thing. So many conferences have been canceled, and so many. I mean, think about the free training that's been available to us over the last 3 or 4 months. One in particular, ATE, great people up there in Seattle have decided that they had to cancel their event, but what they decided to do was put together a virtual automotive training program from August 3rd through the 6th. I took a look at the training. It is off the charts, the number of people they have coming up. I've got their flyer, and Jeff and the team up there at ASA Northwest are putting this together. You guys, if you're members of ATE or you've been there before, jump on their site and sign up for this thing. And we're proud to talk about the associations and all the things that they're doing, and the whole virtual thing that's going on. So yeah. So wow, another one in the can, my friend.
Hey, we're going to find a bunch of fun stuff for next week. Number 10.
I bet you are. Well, thank you all for being here and watching us watch it over the weekend and on our website. And we sure appreciate you hanging out with us.
Absolutely. Thanks for tuning in.